In the quiet village of Greenwood, where trees whispered secrets and birds sang morning songs, lived a girl named Mary. She was only 10 years old when sorrow knocked on her door. Her father, Chief Thomas, a respected man known for his fairness and kindness, fell suddenly ill. His death struck like thunder on a clear day. The village gathered as he was buried under the towering Iroko tree, and Mary wept until her small body shook. Her mother had passed years before, and now, with her father gone, she was alone in the world. That was when her father's younger brother, Uncle Richard, stepped forward. With kind eyes and a soft voice, he placed his hand on Mary's shoulder and said, "You're not alone, child. I'll take care of you now." And so, Mary moved into Uncle Richard's home. He treated her kindly, gave her food and a place to sleep, and over the years, she grew up under his care. Mary swept the compound every morning, fetched water from the stream, and helped with chores. But as she grew older, she began to notice things. Uncle Richard was often away at night, creeping into the forest with only a lantern and a wrapped bundle. Whenever she asked where he went, he would laugh and say, "Just checking traps for wild rabbits." But Mary wasn't sure. She started to feel that her father's death, and everything that followed, wasn't as simple as she had been told. Deep in her heart, something felt wrong. And when strange faces began appearing at their home, whispering to Uncle Richard, exchanging papers, and vanishing before dawn, Mary's suspicion only grew stronger. She didn't know yet, but the truth was about to find her, and shake everything she thought she knew. One dry afternoon, as the village market bustled with life, Mary was buying cassava when her eyes landed on a young man walking through the crowd. His clothes were dusty, his face older and hardened, but his eyes, those eyes, she would never forget. It was James, the boy she had played with as a child, who had mysteriously vanished years ago after her father's burial. Everyone believed he had drowned in the river or wandered into the forest and never returned. But here he was, alive, stronger, and staring right at her. That evening, under the old apple tree near the compound, he approached her. "Mary," he said softly, "there's something you need to know about your uncle." Her heart skipped. In hushed tones, James revealed that he had witnessed the night her father died. Chief Thomas hadn't died from illness. He had been poisoned by his own brother, Richard. "I saw them," James whispered. "Your uncle and two strange men. They buried the truth and left your father to die. That's why they tried to kill me. I ran and hid for years." Mary's hands trembled. James then showed her an old satchel filled with crumpled papers, falsified land documents signed in her father's name, and a scarf with a dried blood stain. It was the same scarf her father wore every day. Mary stared at the papers, her chest tightening. Her heart screamed in confusion. The man who raised her, the man who called her daughter, had betrayed her father for greed. James placed a hand on her shoulder. "You have to decide, Mary. Truth or silence." That night, she didn't sleep. She stared at the stars and knew something inside her had changed forever. Mary rose before dawn, her steps slow but certain. The whispers in the dark had turned into voices in her head. She couldn't ignore them anymore. She waited until Uncle Richard left the house for his usual morning stroll, then sneaked into the old storage room, a place he always kept locked. Using the spare key she had found hidden under a loose brick, she pushed open the wooden door. Inside, dust floated like ghosts in the air. She approached the large wooden chest in the corner. Her hands trembled as she lifted the lid. What she found inside chilled her to the bone. Stacks of hidden documents, her father's name forged again and again, the same blood-stained scarf, and a knife with the family's initials carved on the handle. The truth stared back at her. Uncle Richard didn't just steal from her father, he murdered him. She slammed the lid shut and stormed outside, the dam of silence finally breaking. Richard was in the compound, sipping palm wine beneath the tree as if nothing in the world could touch him. Mary marched up to him, her voice loud, her eyes blazing. "Why did you do it?" she cried. Richard looked up, startled. "Why did you kill my father?" For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, coldly, he replied, "Because he was too good. And good men don't survive in this world." The words cut deeper than any blade. Mary held up the papers. "Then let the whole village see what your evil has done." For the first time in years, Richard looked afraid. The mask of kindness he wore had finally fallen. The sun rose over Greenwood Village as the elders gathered in the square. News had spread like wildfire. Villagers came from every corner to see what Mary had uncovered. She stood in the center, her voice strong, holding up the documents and the scarf. "My uncle, Richard, killed Chief Thomas, my father. Here is the proof." A heavy silence followed her words. One by one, the elders examined the items. The head elder, a man with silver hair and deep eyes, nodded solemnly. "Bring him forward." Richard was dragged into the square, no longer the proud uncle everyone admired. His wrists were bound, and his eyes were dark with defeat. He didn't deny it. The truth was already too loud. As judgment was passed, the villagers stood in stunned silence. Mary didn't cry. She didn't smile. She simply turned and walked away. Her father's name was cleared. That was all that mattered. That evening, as the stars appeared, the village storyteller sat by the fire with the children. "Let me tell you the tale of a brave girl," she began, "who chose truth over silence. A girl who made the shadows run from the light." The children listened wide-eyed, and the story of Mary, the girl who faced the darkness in her own home, became a legend passed from one generation to the next.